Have you ever found yourself wondering where you truly stand with someone? The signals seem so mixed, the gestures so subtle, that you're left questioning if you're genuinely special to him or just another fleeting presence in his life. Let's face it, deciphering a man's emotions can often feel like solving a riddle without all the pieces. But here's the game changer. When a man shares specific parts of himself with you, he's telling you, in his own way, that you matter deeply. The key is knowing how to recognize these moments. What if I told you there's a way to decode these signs and unlock a connection so powerful it could completely redefine your relationship? This isn't about guessing games or mind reading. It's about understanding the subtle language of emotional intimacy. And believe me, once you learn to recognize and respond to these cues, everything changes. You'll stop second-guessing your worth in his life and start truly understanding it. Today, we're diving into 9 transformative things a man shares only with someone he deeply values. Each of these is like a secret key to his heart, a sign that you've broken through the layers and reached a part of him reserved for very few. This isn't surface-level romance, this is deep, meaningful connection, explored through the lens of dark Stoic psychology. Are you ready to uncover these signs and take control of your emotional destiny? Let's begin. 1. He introduces you to his inner circle. Picture this: you've been seeing each other for a while, and things are going well, maybe even great. Then one day, he says those 6 transformative words. I want you to meet them. His friends, his family, his closest confidants. Suddenly, you're not just someone he's dating. You're someone he's letting into his world. This isn't a casual step for a man. Introducing someone to his inner circle is like granting backstage access to his life. These are the people who know him best, who've seen him at his rawest and most unguarded. Why would he open that door if he didn't see you as someone who truly matters? Think about it. Would you bring someone you didn't care deeply about to meet your closest friends or family? But here's the question. How do you know this is significant? Men don't often say, "Hey, this is a big deal for me." Instead, they act. An invitation to meet family or lifelong friends is their way of saying, I trust you. It's their language of emotional investment. So, what should you do when this moment happens? First, understand that this is more than just a simple introduction. It's a test of sorts. His inner circle isn't just there for pleasantries. They're the gatekeepers to his world. They'll be watching you, gauging how you interact, and evaluating if you're a fit. And yes, their opinions often matter more to him than he might openly admit. How do you ace this? By being your authentic self. Don't overthink it or try to impress everyone. It's not about perfection. Instead, focus on showing genuine interest in his people. Ask thoughtful questions. Engage meaningfully. And aim to build bridges. The more authentic your interactions are, the more likely they are to see what he sees in you, someone worth keeping around. Now, let's dive deeper into why this matters. A man's inner circle is his emotional safety net. They've stood by him through his highs and lows, offering advice, support, and perspective. Their approval or doubts carry significant weight. When he opens this door to you, he's essentially saying, I'm ready to share this part of my life with you. That's not a small step. But here's where it gets even more fascinating. For men rooted in Stoicism, introducing someone to their inner circle carries even greater weight. Stoic men are often guarded, valuing their inner peace and control above all else. Allowing someone into their most personal spaces, whether that's a family dinner or a poker night with the guys, is a conscious decision to trust. Recognizing this vulnerability as a profound act of connection gives you the power to deepen the bond between you. Still wondering how to respond when he introduces you to his inner circle? Ask yourself this. How can you show him that you value this opportunity without overstepping? Balance is key. Let him see that you're just as interested in his world as you are in him. Don't underestimate the ripple effect this can have on your connection. The way you handle this moment will shape how he sees your place in his life moving forward. High-value women understand and respond to these invitations with grace and authenticity. They recognize that when a man invites them into his world, it's not just an action, it's a message. 2. He shares his dreams and aspirations. Close your eyes and imagine this. You're sitting together, perhaps over a quiet dinner or during a peaceful walk under the stars. Suddenly, he begins to open up about his future, his goals, his dreams, the life he envisions for himself. Then, without realizing it, he says something extraordinary. "I could see us doing that together. Did you catch it?" That subtle shift from I to we. It might seem like a small thing, but in reality, it's monumental. When a man shares his dreams and starts including you in his vision, he's showing you a side of himself that he doesn't share with just anyone. His aspirations are deeply personal, a sacred blueprint for his future. By letting you into that world, he's revealing that you're not just another person in his life. You're someone he sees as a potential partner in his journey. Why does this matter so much? For most men, their goals and ambitions are intimately tied to their sense of identity and purpose. Sharing these dreams isn't something they do lightly. It's a way of saying, "I trust you enough to hold this part of me." But here's the catch. How you respond in this moment can make or break the connection. Are you listening with genuine interest, asking thoughtful questions, and showing respect for his vision? Or are you brushing it off, too preoccupied with your own thoughts to grasp the significance of what he's sharing? A high-value woman knows the power of her response in these moments. When a man shares his aspirations, he's not just revealing his goals, he's inviting you to inspire and support him. This is where dark Stoic psychology comes into play. A man who values Stoicism is action-oriented and seeks belief rather than critique. He's not looking for someone to solve his problems. He's seeking someone who sees his potential and stands by him. So, how do you embody that high-value energy? Start by being fully present. If he shares a dream about building a business, traveling the world, or creating a legacy, reflect his excitement back to him. Let him know you see his potential, not just in what he's striving for but in who he is. This isn't about blindly agreeing with everything he says. It's about showing that you care enough to understand his vision. For instance, if he talks about starting a company, ask questions like, "What inspired that idea?" Or "What does success look like to you?" These thoughtful responses show that you're engaged and invested, while also encouraging him to explore his dreams more deeply. When he sees that you're genuinely interested, he'll start associating you with the sense of purpose and excitement he feels about his future. Now here's something most women don't realize. When a man includes you in his dreams, he's also testing the waters. He's observing whether you can handle the ups and downs of his journey, and whether you'll support him through uncertainties. This doesn't mean you need to be his cheerleader 24/7, but it does mean showing that you're steady, resilient, and willing to grow alongside him. What does this look like in practice? Let's say he shares a dream that seems bold, maybe even risky. Instead of responding with doubt, "That sounds impossible," try something like, "That's ambitious. I admire your vision. What's your next step?" This kind of response keeps the conversation positive and shows you respect his ambition while encouraging him to share more. And don't underestimate the impact of your own aspirations. When a man shares his dreams with you, it often sparks curiosity about your goals as well. This is your chance to create a dynamic of mutual inspiration. Share your vision confidently, and let him see that you're just as passionate about your journey as he is about his. This balance of shared ambition is where truly powerful connections begin. As you reflect on this, ask yourself, when was the last time you truly listened to someone's dreams? How did it feel to be trusted with that part of their life? And how did your response shape the connection? 3. He opens up about his past. Take a moment to reflect. How often do men willingly share details about their past relationships, regrets, or personal struggles? If your answer is not very often, you're absolutely right. Men, particularly those who value strength and control, rarely delve into the emotional archives of their lives without a compelling reason. So, when he begins to share the moments that shaped him, his triumphs, heartbreaks, and even mistakes, he's trusting you with a side of himself he doesn't show the world. This trust is fragile, and your role is to handle it with care. Let's view this through the lens of Stoicism. For many men who live by Stoic principles, the past is something to learn from, not dwell on. Yet even the most stoic man understands the power of sharing his journey with someone he values. This is where dark Stoic psychology comes into play, recognizing that his openness is a calculated risk, one he's taking because he sees you as someone worth trusting, can deepen your connection. How should you respond when a man shares his past? First, listen without judgment. If he talks about a regret or a time in his life that feels foreign to your own experiences, approach the conversation with curiosity instead of letting your emotions take over. Ask questions that demonstrate genuine interest, such as, what did you learn from that experience? Or how do you think it shaped who you are today? When you respond with openness and curiosity, you're signaling that his past doesn't intimidate you. Instead, you're showing that you're here for who he is now, not just the polished version he presents to the world. By embracing his past as part of what makes him human, you strengthen the bond between you. But here's where it gets even more meaningful. When a man shares his past, he's not just recounting events, he's inviting you to understand the person he has become because of those experiences. For men, especially those with Stoic tendencies, this act of vulnerability is significant. By sharing his past, he's essentially saying, "This is me, flaws and all. Do you accept this version of me?" This isn't something men do lightly. Society often teaches them to suppress their emotions and avoid appearing weak. So, when he takes the step to open up about something painful or deeply personal, he's placing a tremendous amount of trust in you. For he talks about his fears. What does it mean when a man begins sharing his fears with you? Not just surface-level concerns like missing a deadline, but the deeper, personal fears that stem from past wounds, things like a fear of abandonment, not being enough, or being misunderstood. If he's sharing these with you, he's showing you a side of himself that even he may struggle to accept. Your role in this moment isn't to offer empty reassurances like, "That'll never happen." Instead, respond with empathy and honesty. Say something like, "I understand why you'd feel that way. Thank you for trusting me with this." Why is this important? When a man shares his fears, he's not necessarily looking for solutions. He's not asking you to fix his problems or tell him what he should do. What he needs is presence. He needs to know that you're truly listening, that you understand, and that you're there not to change him, but to support him as he works through his emotions. This is where dark Stoic psychology becomes invaluable. A man practicing Stoicism values inner strength and emotional resilience. But even he recognizes the power of being seen. When he shares his fears, it's an act of trust, a moment where he lowers his guard and shows you the parts of himself he usually keeps hidden. How you respond to his vulnerability is critical. It's not about dismissing his fears or diminishing their significance. Instead, it's about holding space for him, showing him that his fears don't lessen his worth in your eyes but make him more human, more relatable, and more worthy of connection. Think about it. How often do you share your deepest fears with someone? What has to happen for you to feel safe enough to expose that vulnerable side of yourself? The same applies to him. When he shares these fears, he's saying, "I trust you not to judge me. I trust you to hold this with care." When you respond with compassion and understanding, you do more than just comfort him. You rewrite the narrative. You teach him that sharing his fears doesn't weaken him. It strengthens the bond you share. Have you noticed how rare this is in today's world? In an age of quick fixes and surface-level interactions, creating space for deep, authentic connection is a rarity, but it's also what sets you apart as a high-value woman. You're not afraid to dig deeper, to sit with discomfort, and to show him that his fears don't scare you. The next time he opens up about what keeps him awake at night, remember this. He's not just sharing his fears with you. He's inviting you into a deeper, more authentic connection. And that's a privilege worth cherishing. 5. He shares the little things. Imagine this. He texts you in the middle of the day, not to talk about something urgent, but to share a random thought or a small, seemingly trivial moment. Maybe it's a funny meme, a quick note about something that reminded him of you, or even just a simple, "How's your day going?" On the surface, these gestures might appear insignificant, but they carry a much deeper meaning. When a man shares these little moments, he's letting you know that you're on his mind, even during the most ordinary parts of his life. This is his way of weaving you into his daily rhythm, inviting you to be part of the small, unfiltered pieces that make up his world. Why does this matter? Men often focus on the big picture goals, achievements, and milestones. They aren't typically inclined to dwell on the little things unless those little things involve someone who genuinely matters to them. Sharing these moments is his subtle way of saying, "You're special enough to be part of my everyday life." How you respond to these small gestures can significantly impact the relationship. Can you appreciate his effort to include you? Even if it's a quick text about something trivial? Can you listen when he vents about small frustrations without dismissing them? These reactions are important markers of compatibility. High-value women recognize that the little things often carry just as much weight, if not more, than grand romantic gestures. Think about it, how many people in your life get to see the unfiltered, in-between moments, the times when you're not performing, when you're simply being yourself. When he shares these moments with you, he's inviting you into a space of authenticity. It's his way of saying, "This is me, unfiltered. Do you still want to be part of this?" 6. He invites you into his space. Picture this. He brings you to his home, his sanctuary. It might not be perfect. There might be laundry piled in the corner or a desk cluttered with unfinished projects. But it's his personal space. Inviting you into this part of his life is a significant gesture. When a man lets you into his home, he's not just sharing a physical space. He's sharing a part of his life, his habits, his routines, and his unpolished reality. He's saying, "This is who I am. Take a closer look." Your response in these moments matters. How do you react when you see his space for the first time? Do you take the time to notice the details? Look beyond the surface and ask yourself, what does this space say about him? Are there books that reflect his passions, mementos from his travels, or tools that reveal his hobbies? Or is it a minimalist, orderly space that shows how much he values simplicity? One of the most powerful things you can do in this moment is show respect for his environment. This doesn't mean tiptoeing around or being overly formal. It means being mindful of what his space represents to him. If he's proud of something like a piece of artwork or a project he's been working on, take the time to notice it and ask about it. These small acts of interest and respect can go a long way in showing him that you value what he values. When a man lets you into his sanctuary, he's not just sharing a part of his life, he's asking you to be part of it. And that's a gesture worth cherishing. 7. He shares his vulnerabilities. Imagine sitting across from him, and for the first time, the confident, composed man you've come to know begins to pull back the curtain. He starts talking about something that makes him feel exposed, a fear, past failure, or an insecurity he rarely admits to anyone, let alone himself. This isn't something men do lightly. Sharing vulnerabilities can feel risky, especially when they fear being dismissed or judged. What he needs in these moments is not a solution or a quick fix but your presence. He needs to know you're listening, that you understand, and that you're there not to solve his problems, but to stand beside him as he navigates them. This is where dark Stoic psychology becomes essential. A man who practices Stoicism values strength and emotional resilience. But even he understands the profound power of being seen. When he shares his vulnerabilities with you, it's an act of trust. He's showing you a side of himself he doesn't share with the world. Your response here is pivotal. It's not about minimizing his feelings or attempting to sweep them away. Instead, hold space for him. Let him see that his struggles don't make him less in your eyes. They make him human and relatable. Acknowledge his courage in opening up, and remind him of the strength it takes to confront these fears. Vulnerability also reveals something deeper, his willingness to grow. When a man shares his struggles, it's often a sign that he's actively working to understand himself better. He's not just unloading his emotions, he's inviting you to join him on a journey of self-discovery. As his partner, your role is not to fix him but to stand beside him, steady and unwavering. When a man feels safe sharing his vulnerabilities with you, it creates a foundation of trust and emotional intimacy that few connections can rival. 8. He shares his embarrassing or unfiltered moments. Picture this. He tells you a story about an awkward moment, like tripping in front of a crowd, or confesses to an irrational fear he can't explain. Or maybe you catch him singing terribly in the shower, and instead of hiding it, He laughs it off with a shrug. These moments might seem trivial, but they're far from it. When he shares these unpolished parts of himself, he's testing the waters. He's trying to see if you'll still respect and accept him when his carefully curated image fades. Your reaction in these moments matters more than you might think. When he confesses to an awkward memory or shows his quirky side, he's not looking for you to mock or tease him. What he's truly asking, without saying it outright, is, am I safe to be myself around you? Think about how rare this is. In a world where so many strive to project an image of perfection, allowing someone to see the imperfect, unfiltered version of yourself is a big deal. If he's doing this with you, it's a clear sign that he feels comfortable and trusts you deeply. When he shares these moments, laugh with him, not at him. Show that you appreciate his honesty and vulnerability. These interactions create a space where he feels free to be himself, without fear of judgment. Sharing these unguarded moments isn't just about trust, it's about intimacy. It's his way of saying, I'm not just the strong, composed man you see in public. I'm also human, and I want you to see all of me. As you navigate these moments, remember, they're more than just anecdotes or quirks. They're glimpses into his true self, and how you respond will shape the depth of your connection. 9. He talks about a future with you. Imagine this, you're sitting together, perhaps casually chatting about life, when his words suddenly shift. He's no longer talking about his plans or goals in isolation. Instead, he starts using words like we and us. Maybe he mentions a vacation he'd like to take with you. Or he talks about his dream of starting a business and asks for your input. Perhaps he even hints at something more permanent, like building a life together. These aren't just passing comments. For him, these are deliberate signals. When a man talks about a future with you, he's revealing his intentions in a subtle but significant way. For many men, especially those who value Stoic principles, this is no small thing. It's about investment. He's envisioning a partnership, a shared journey, and he's testing the waters to see if you're just as interested. So how should you respond when this happens? Start by paying attention. His words might seem casual, but they carry weight. Is he talking about a future trip, a joint project, or even the idea of sharing a home? Each of these hints reveals how he envisions you fitting into his life. Take a moment to reflect on what he's saying. How do you feel about it? Does the idea of a shared future excite you? So, respond in a way that shows you're equally invested. For example, if he mentions traveling together, you could say, that sounds amazing. Where would you want to go first? Or if he talks about a business idea, ask, what role would you see us playing in that? These responses show that you're not just listening but actively engaging with his vision. It's not just about agreeing with everything he says. It's about showing that you're open to building something meaningful together. When a man talks about the future, he's looking for signs of compatibility and shared goals. For him, this is less about romance and more about practicality. This is where dark Stoic psychology comes into play. For men who value independence and authenticity, imagining a future isn't just theoretical, it's tangible. Can he see you as a permanent part of his life? Not just as a visitor but as a partner who actively contributes to that vision? Your role in this vision matters. Are you demonstrating that you're committed to building something meaningful together? Are you showing him that you're not just along for the ride, but a collaborator in shaping the life you both want? When a man includes you in his plans, he's not just being sweet, he's being intentional. He's balancing his desire for connection with his need for authenticity. And your response can either affirm his choice or make him reconsider it. So, the next time he talks about the future, remember this. He's not just sharing his thoughts. He's testing the strength of your connection. How you respond will shape not only your current relationship, but also the one you're building for tomorrow. When a man shares these intimate parts of his life with you, his inner circle, his dreams, his vulnerabilities, even the unpolished corners of his reality, it's never random. These are his ways of saying, you're special to me. Even if he doesn't put it into words. For men, actions often speak louder than words. For high-value women, recognizing these actions is the key to deepening the relationship. Let this understanding guide you as you navigate the complexities of love and connection. If these insights resonated with you, let us know. Take a moment to like this video and comment number 1 if you've ever experienced these subtle but powerful gestures from someone special. Your engagement helps us create more meaningful content like this, exploring the depths of human connection and the art of building lasting relationships. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more transformative insights into love, connection, and personal growth. Together, we're uncovering the truths that foster deep, authentic relationships. Are you ready to learn more about what it means when a man truly values you? Stay tuned for more tips on recognizing and nurturing the kind of connection that lasts. Whether it's about understanding his actions, responding with grace, or creating moments of mutual trust and vulnerability, every step is a journey worth taking. Thank you for joining us today. Here's to building connections filled with love, trust, and a shared vision for the future.